Treasure Coast Connector, connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast. And here's your host, Ellen Contreras.
Well, hello and welcome to this week's Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras of the Ferris Group, one of our sponsors. To learn more about them, go to their website at www.ferrisgroup.com. That's spelled P-H-A-R-U-S group.com, or give them a call at 772-223-3344. Treasure Coast Connector is a show that puts the spotlight on local business owners so that we can learn all about them, the why behind what they do, and what makes their products and services so unique and special. And today we're going to be talking about hypnosis, what it is and what it isn't in terms of breaking through behaviors and habits that keep us held back from living our best versions of ourselves. And joining me today is Stephanie DeWayne of By the Sea Hypnosis, and she is a certified clinical hypnotist, and she gives people the tools that they need to uncover their fears and overcome obstacles at the speed of thought so that they can achieve their goals and, live their fullest lives possible. And Stephanie, thank you so much for joining me. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here today.
Ellen, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. And one of the things I forgot to mention is the extensive training that you have had. I wanted to do that before I introduced you, so I'm sorry about that. But what I found fascinating is that you have undergone 700 hours of hypnosis training, and then you had 200 hours of supervised practice. So that is a long time. So very, very dedicated in what you do.
Yeah, that was when I first started out. So I started out in 2015. So since then, you do a lot of continuing ed and take more classes.
Oh, yes.
So well over that.
So it's not a one and done. It's a lifelong commitment to being the best that you can be.
Yep.
So what I love to ask everybody when they come onto the show is why they got started doing what they do. So now for you, a lot of people do different things in their career. They'll embark on one type of a career and then they move to something else, but they're always working, for someone, which is fine, of course. But you were a dental hygienist. And then you decided that you wanted to stay in the healthcare and wellness field, but you wanted to be a hypnotist, a certified hypnotist, but then you wanted to open up your own practice.
Yeah.
So tell us why you decided to go into this field and start this practice.
Yeah. So when I was a dental hygienist, I loved what I did, but after 24 years, I was ready for a new career. Yeah. I mean, second half of my life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wanted to be in the service industry, so I wanted to help people. I wanted to serve them. And so for 5 or 6 years, I did different things. I was in direct sales for a while. I liked it, but it wasn't my passion.
Okay.
And so when I found hypnosis, I'm like, that's it. That's it. So, went to school and opened up my own practice. What I do is I get to help people just kind of unpack all their stuff. And, we all shove things down. We all have stuff, right?
Yes, and we don't want to deal with it.
No. Yeah. And society teaches us not to deal with it, right? So it's energy in motion because we're all energy. Yeah. And it has to go somewhere. Well, when you shove it down, really shove it down, it has to go somewhere. So it does. It goes into your body and it goes into your mind. Yeah. And it causes problems for you if you don't deal with that stuff.
Yeah. It will manifest itself in other areas. Yeah. And then that's, really frustrating, not only for you, but, friends, family, loved ones, coworkers that might not be so happy with your attitude at times.
Exactly. So when we're dealing with all that stuff and we don't realize what it is, and I'm saying we because everybody's got it, you and I both. There isn't anybody that's walked on this planet that didn't have stuff. Yeah.
No, it's true.
And so when we're not dealing with it, it is creating different belief systems, different problems. It can create anxiety, fear, stress. It can create hurt. There's all the different emotions, anger. Yeah. I see a lot of my clients have anger, and a lot of my clients have a lot of anxiety. Yeah. And fear.
Yes, and we will definitely get into that in just a moment.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the humorous side for a moment, because when I mentioned to a few people about the hypnosis and you were coming on, there are a lot of savvy people that understand what clinical hypnosis is.
Right.
But then there are some people, oh, are you going to cluck like a chicken on stage and things? And I'm like, well, that's theater.
It is.
And that can be funny. And I don't always believe in that. I think that sometimes people play into that. Yeah. But what we're going to talk about is what hypnosis is in terms of helping people. So let's dispel some myths. So when you want to, I'm sure it just drives you nuts when, you know, people say that to you. So here's your platform. So let's talk about hypnosis and what it is and what it isn't.
Okay, let's start with what it isn't, because that's a really quick definition. Then we can go back to what it is. So what it isn't. People who... That's stage hypnosis, and you're supposed to have fun. It's entertaining. Yeah. And the difference is people, the hypnotist that's up there is asking for volunteers. So people are running up on stage ready to be silly. Yeah. They've already decided that this is going to be fun and this is going to be silly. So they've already made that decision.
They've bought into it, or maybe they're drunk.
Could be, who knows, or exactly. And so usually a hypnotist, what they do when they're doing stage hypnosis is they're taking more people than they need. And by process of elimination, because maybe they're not as susceptible to suggestion, they eliminate. So really they're only working with 5 or 6 people depending on the hypnotist. And those are the ones that are really, really into it and very suggestible and just ready to do anything and just let go and be vulnerable. Yeah. All right. It makes for a good show, because that's why you're there for, is to be entertained. Right?
Yes.
So that's, so yes, they do cluck like a chicken and they do other things.
I think it's funny.
But they've agreed to do it because they set foot on stage. Okay. So
hypnosis now is.
So now clinical hypnosis, or for therapeutic reasons, is more of a, therapeutic hypnosis. So what's happening is people are coming into my office and they want to make a change. There's something, there's a problem, and they want to make a change. And a lot of times, unfortunately, I'm the last result. I'm the very last person that they seek.
Oh, because their hair is on fire, and they're no longer comfortable in their chaos. Is that?
It could be, or they've tried everything else and it's just not working, and they come to me saying, "Please, you have to help me." But they want the help. They're coming willingly. They've already made the decision to make the change. So in that case, because the mind is so powerful and they've already made that decision to make the change, all I do is guide them through it. Yeah. And once they've made that decision, my job's easy. Yeah. So what happens is we all grow up, and sometimes with an authority figure, they say something to us as a child. Maybe they'll say something like, "Oh, you're not smart enough to be a doctor." Or you can't be an athlete because you're too little. You'll never play football, or you'll never play basketball because you're too little. It happens. Okay. And so then all of a sudden that authority figure, you heard it once, twice, 3 times, and that's an authority figure. So you take on their belief system.
Oh, yeah. The mind is a powerful thing.
Right. So neurons that fire together wire together. That's called neuroplasticity. Okay. And so when those neurons are wired together, it's all of a sudden it's a thought process and it's a belief system, and it's running in your subconscious mind, and you don't even know it's running. It's just this little loop going around and around, and it's running there and you're not even aware of it. So what happens as you get older? Oh, I can't be an athlete. I'm too little. Or I'm not smart enough to be a doctor. So I'm just going to, do something different. Right. Yeah. Okay. And that's a belief system. So in hypnosis, what's really cool is you break that chain of thought, and you rewire those neurons to believe something different. I am good enough. Yeah. That's the number one thing, especially with women.
So you're taking your power back then.
Exactly. Yeah. I am good enough to do this. I am going to change my belief system on this. I am now a non-smoker. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, and it's just changing that belief system. And once you believe something, and you're thinking it over and over again, then all of a sudden
perpetuates into
your
reality.
Habits have changed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because it is your reality when you believe something.
Can you share, because what you said before about people living in a state of fear or a state of constant stress, so a lot of people that are watching this now and they're going to be listening to it on the radio, they're self-identifying, right?
Yes.
And they're automatically thinking about certain things that they want to change. Can you share maybe a success story? Because people, they love to hear about those types of things.
Yes, and I have permission to share this because I asked her permission if I could share this, and she said, tell anything and everything. I don't care. I'm an open book, so it's really nice. So I have a 62-year-old lady. She's a wonderful lady. She's actually a home health care nurse. So she has a heart for serving, but she has really, really bad anger issues. But I'm talking anger as in if you honk her horn at her, she'll stop at the next light and she'll take a bat and start beating on your car. She's done this.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So she said, I'm 62. I've had this anger issue since I'm little. It's affected my whole life, my family, my friends, my jobs, everything. I can't live like this anymore. I tried everything. Can you help me?
Wow. Yeah.
So I said, sure. So we got into it, and after 3-4 sessions, she doesn't have those anger issues anymore.
Wow.
And her friends and family are saying, you've changed. This is really amazing. And she's really excited because now she's growing friendships, which she could never do before because she would get so angry. Can you imagine having that your whole life?
No.
And having it affect you?
Yeah, and especially being a nurse, I'm sure the practical side of being a nurse, she must have been very good at. But then if people upset her, you know, because you need to have a certain empathy, you know.
Yeah.
So all of these changes now are probably building on top of each other.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And then another one, this is just something, I didn't even have a session with him. He's a veteran.
Okay.
And he did several tours in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
He was a military, it was his career. He retired at age 52. And I was at a expo. And he was in the booth behind me. And he heard me talking to people. And he was kind of ear hustling. And he heard me and he said, hey, do you think you could help me? And I said, sit down. So we sat in between the tables and just chatted for a minute. And he said, I am so nervous. They train me. And this is what's interesting. He said, I am a trained killer.
Yeah.
And he said, my eyes dot around this room in this crowd is very difficult for me because I'm constantly looking. I can't turn it off.
Something bad to happen.
Yeah. And he's like, I can't turn it off. And his knee was shaking and, you know, it's just bouncing and everything. And I said, okay. I said, give me your keys. And so I showed him by just tossing his keys back and forth, crossing this meridian here. Okay. And tossing his keys. And so what happened was I gave him his keys back and I said, now you do it. And I said, and so he tossed it back and forth for 3-4 minutes. And when he was done, I said, how do you feel? And he goes, oh my gosh, I feel more relaxed than I have felt in years just by that simple tool.
Yeah. So you gave him peace and obviously the reason to come and see you more for more in-depth help.
Yeah.
So we are having a lot of fun. I love this show so much. I learned something new. I've known Stephanie for a little while now, but every time I interact with you, I always learn something new. But we do have to take a quick 2-minute break. So there is a lot more that Stephanie DeWayne and I will be talking about when we come back to the Treasure Coast Connector. Stay tuned.
ITEX, or International Trade Exchange, is the largest barter company in the world, with over 25,000 members offering goods and services. We're a marketing company that brings you new business in the way of trade, with over 200 local members enjoying the benefits of ITEX, like lawyers, doctors, plumbers, media, printing, and more.
Hi, this is Liz Bowler. Contact me and find out why barter through ITEX has been smarter for over 30 years. 772-532-1881. Visit itex.com.
It's time to call Easy Brew Coffee and Bottled Water Service and learn just how much you can save and how convenient it is to have your coffee and bottled water delivered right to your home or office. In addition to water coolers, Easy Brew offers individual bottles of water in 8 or 16-ounce bottles. No more lugging it home or dragging it into the office. Serving the Treasure Coast for over 2 decades, 2 letters, 1 simple name. Easy for Easy Brew. Visit e-zbrew.com or call 800-792-3285. Easy Brew.
Hi, I'm Derek Ogden from Word of Mouth Computers and Electronics. Since 2009, my team and I have been providing South Florida and the Treasure Coast with the highest level of service in the technology field. Computers, networks, surveillance systems, web services, Wi-Fi systems, anything you need technology related, we're your guys. Small business technology and consulting is my passion. Whether your business has 1 computer or 100 computers, I will come to your office and give you a custom technology evaluation report, and you won't owe me a dime for it. That's right, a free in-office technology consult, but only for a limited time. For your home or business, all you need is one number for all your technology needs. Call me right now before time runs out at 888-966-7228. Remember, there's no obligation. That number again is 888-966-7228. And ask for me, Derek.
A member of the iTex trading community. Your iTex dollars are welcome.
Well, welcome back to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras, and we've been talking about hypnosis today. And we have Stephanie DeWayne of By the Sea Hypnosis, and we're going to continue talking more about hypnosis. And what I want to talk about now, actually, is I was so impressed with the different ways that you help people. Yeah. And what I want to talk about now is if people want to come to you, there's so many different things that you do. So you will meet with people one-on-one in person. Mm-hmm. You've met with groups of people in person and workshops and things. And then what I really thought was so amazing with technology, you can help people literally all around the world. And you do. You've had people that you've helped in all these other countries, and you do it with Zoom and other technologies. So if someone wants your help, let's talk about what it's like. What does it look like from the moment that they're thinking about working with you? How do you get them into that process?
Okay, so we chat on the phone for a few minutes. Mm-hmm. I kind of find out what they're thinking, what their problem is. And from there, we can set up a 30-minute free consultation, either in my office or via Zoom. Okay. And I just send them the link. They click on it. They don't have to have a lot of software or anything. Mm-hmm. Okay. As long as they have a phone with a camera, an iPad, or a computer with a camera. Okay. Then we do Zoom. Mm-hmm. And if they don't, we just can do it over the phone, the 30-minute consultation. Yeah. And then from there, we set up what we think that they need, and we talk about different ways to do to make the changes. Okay. And so I have clients, California, Colorado, Massachusetts. I've got Vermont, west side of Florida. Yeah. All over. All over. Yeah.
And then wasn't it even Australia, or there was some other, there were a few other countries?
I did have a client in Australia. So the time zone was a little different.
I talked to you about that.
You just got to deal with it.
Yeah. But you're willing to work with people earlier in the morning or later in the evening, depending on the time zones. So that's.
So early morning for them is late at night for me. We're talking 11 and 12 o'clock at night. Yeah. But that's okay. I just allot for it, and we go from there. So
you make changes in your schedule. Well, you're the boss. You can do that.
I can, which is really awesome. Yeah. Well, very nice. I even take a mental day for myself once a week. So I have Fridays off.
Very good.
So those days I can do, international calls, that kind of thing as well. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. Well, what I want to talk about next is something that is very prevalent in our society, and that is obesity.
Yes.
And that is something that a lot of people deal with, and it holds them back emotionally and mentally, but it also causes a lot of health problems. Yes. So heart disease is on the rise, diabetes, and things like that. Yes. When I first met you, and you were talking about the different things that you did, and it was the virtual lap band procedure that you are certified in. Yes. I took you aside. Yeah. Okay. I didn't care. We were supposed to network. I'm like, no. I need to know all about this. I was so fascinated. And, but what I liked about it the most is that when we gain weight, there's reasons behind it. Yes. And people will lose weight and they're really good about it, but then they will backslide and gain the weight because they're not addressing the core issue. Right. And that's what you really want. You don't want to just do the procedure to do the procedure. You really want to help people with long-lasting results. Right. So you are helping people with the root cause, and then you will do the lap band procedure. And even if people have actually had the physical surgery, not the virtual, and they're having issues, you'll help them. So tell us about that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It was a long-winded question, but I just wanted to give the backstory.
Absolutely. So a lot of times people who are overweight are overweight because of emotional issues, whether it be emotional eating or a trauma that happened to them. So they're protecting themselves, or, it could be all different reasons, and everybody's different.
Or a husband that cooks really well.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. But see, you can still have that wonderful food, just not the whole plate or seconds or thirds.
Yeah.
So so under hypnosis, we can make suggestions and you can make changes. It's a choice, though.
Yeah.
I can't control if you put more food on your plate, even though we had a session.
Right.
So it is a choice. But through that, dealing with the emotional issues, or if you have any trauma, anything like that, and it could just be a belief system. Again, it's back to a belief system. So we change that. We work with that. And then, so I can do the virtual gastric band. So your mind thinks you went through the surgery. I have sound effects and everything.
Oh, wow.
Beep, beep in the surgery room and everything. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So your mind thinks you went through the surgery. And then afterwards, we're doing a few sessions on what you're eating and how you're eating. And your mind thinks that have about a golf ball sized stomach.
Great.
So,
Okay.
Yeah. So that can change. And they did a scientific study on it. So it's been studied, and they've got proven results. It was done in London. So they have proven results on this particular procedure.
Right.
So
the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
Before you even underwent the training for this.
Yeah, that's why I went through the training, is because it was scientifically proven.
Okay.
Yeah, which is really amazing. Because hypnosis, there's a lot of articles and everything, but there's not a lot of, there's science. It's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. So I went through the training. And then one of the things I found is I have clients who come to me and say, look, I had the procedure done. And I said, well, did you do any counseling around it before you had it done? Well, no.
Oh.
So they just went in, had the procedure done, and they knew that their stomach was smaller. But here's the rub. Your stomach can stretch out as you eat.
Yes, so if I've read that,
So if you're still eating, at first you're going to get sick from eating too much.
Yeah.
But as you slowly over a year or two, you can gain that weight back. And part of the problem is they never dealt with the issue in the first place.
Right.
The problem in the first place.
So then you can help them with that. I think that's fantastic. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about was the fact that there are so many other ways that you help people. So you work with athletes, both young and old.
I do.
You work with people who want to stop smoking. And then the other thing that's probably very popular is people that are afraid of going to the dentist or the doctor. They're afraid of those things. So these are other ways that you help. So let's talk about the different services that you offer.
Yeah. So I had a client call me and he's like, look, I'm an airline pilot. I have to pass my physical every year to do what I do.
Okay.
But he said, as soon as I get in there, my blood pressure goes sky high. It's normal regularly, but when I get in there, my blood pressure goes sky high. I said, oh, we can take care of that.
Yeah.
So I just taught him some techniques so that he can use in the room. And our minds are so powerful.
Yeah.
We can control that. So it worked for him. Yeah. Athletes, visualization, Michael Jordan, before he played every game, he won every game in his mind.
Oh, yes.
He visualized it and went through it. So with athletes, it's do you have a visual coach? Do you have a mind coach or anything like that? A lot of the famous athletes do. Golfers. There's a lot of golf around here, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So mental coaches.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do a lot of mental coaching.
Okay.
What else?
Well, actually, we are almost running out of time, not totally out of time yet. So I just want to say first, thank you for being part of the show. It has been wonderful to have you here. And you have really given a lot of people a lot of hope. There's a lot of positivity in what you do in making us change our brains, so to speak. But before we go, tell everyone how they can connect with you directly.
Oh, yeah. So my website is www.bytheseahypnosis.com. You can email me at bytheseahypnosis@gmail.com. And you can call me at 772-207-0824.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. And yes, we are almost out of time. So this has been another episode of Treasure Coast Connector. I am your host, Ellen Contreras of the Ferris Group, one of our sponsors. To learn about them, visit the site www.ferrisgroup.com. That's PHARUS group.com, or call them directly at 772-223-3344. It has been a wonderful time. Thank you for joining us. Have a great week, everybody.